You could be on CNN right now.
Yeah.
You know,
John Lennon could
a
be
real news organization. Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
No, unfortunately, I just haven't. I guess what was it you said the requirement for being a CNN job at CNN is.
Are you a pervert?
I'm not perverted enough. I guess. I don't know.
All right, guys. So Elon Musk has been in the news lately, and he's been in the good graces of the conservative movement, mainly because he's been attacked by the left, right? He's been attacked because Elon Musk is not necessarily on board with Joe Biden's agenda, right? Specifically his Build Back Better plan that Elon Musk came out and said should be deleted. And then he had that whole spat with Elizabeth Warren in which, she basically called to, tax the rich, right? And going out to Elon Musk for being Time Person of the Year. And Elon Musk essentially ethered her in the Twitter comment section of that video, basically calling her a fraud and making fun of the fact that our politicians are incompetent, right? So with that being said, Elon Musk, he's making a whole lot of enemies on the left and making a whole lot of friends on the right. But I haven't quite figured out whether or not Elon is actually conservative socially, right? He might actually be conservative economically, right? He might be on the right economically, but I just haven't figured it out when it comes to social issues yet. Okay, he may be centrist on those things. However, we have a hint, right? We have a hint, as he did an interview with the Babylon Bee, in which he rails against the idea of wokeness. Take a look.
And I was wondering if you could decipher this tweet of yours for me, because I'm not a programmer. You wrote trace route woke _mind _virus. What does that mean?
Okay, so traceroute is a networking command to. So if you want to figure out a path to a particular server or domain, you'd say traceroute, or in Windows traceRT. That would show you the path to a particular source server, either an IP address or domain name, and it would show you basically all the hops that it goes through, and the latency between each hop. And so
I know some of those words.
Yeah. So traceroute would be like, where did it come from?
Yeah.
Where did the virus come from? What is its origin?
So did this work? Did this command work? Or no? Did you
Read
figure
the
it out?
comments. Read the comments and see.
All right.
It is a prevalent mind virus and arguably one of the biggest threats to modern civilization.
You're working on some of those problems, but the problem of wokeness specifically, you mentioned that's like a mind virus and it's destructive. And why do you think wokeness is so destructive?
I'm interested in your opinions too. But, generally, I think we should be aiming for like a positive society, and that it should be okay to be humorous. We should wokeness basically wants to make comedy illegal, which is not cool.
We've experienced a little bit of that.
I mean, Chappelle, like what the
flower bed.
I mean, try to shut down Chappelle. Come on, man, that's crazy. So do we want a humorless society that is simply rife with condemnation and hate, basically?
And no forgiveness, right?
Yeah. At its heart, wokeness is divisive, exclusionary, and hateful. It basically gives mean people a reason. It gives them a shield to be mean and cruel, armored in false virtue.
All right, guys. So those were some pretty interesting thoughts from Elon Musk, right? Somebody that has a background as a computer programmer, basically now is CEO of multiple companies that, one of whom is going to take us to Mars. When he starts talking about social issues, again, I find it pretty fascinating. And I want you guys to keep in mind, Elon Musk is a little autistic. I think he announced that. So, that's why he kind of speaks the way he does. I don't think many people actually realize that. But what he's talking about is this thing that he coins as the woke mind virus, right? And I showed you guys that tweet in which he put in this computer command, traceroute woke mind virus, which is him basically saying that he wants to know the origin of wokeness, right? He wants to find the origin of wokeness. Where is it coming from? And he probably wants to know that because, according to him, he thinks that it is one of the biggest threats to modern civilization, right? And I actually agree with him on that. Now, a lot of people on the left try to criticize people on the right for using the term wokeness, right? They think that people on the right are using the term as a way to just kind of smear people who are aware of social issues or that speak out about social issues. Now, in my opinion, what I define as wokeness is this. It is radical, far left, social change. That's what I define as wokeness, okay? So, in my opinion, being woke is not necessarily being aware of social issues. I think there are a lot of people that are aware of social issues that, you may better say that they're woke, but, for the most part, I call people the woke revolutionaries, the ones that actually act on it, right? And I think that that's really the biggest problem. The problem isn't the idea that people are woke, that they're aware of, these social problems. That's not really the issue. It's the fact that people act on them in a way that is radical, right? And that those actions are not in line with our fundamental values and freedoms that we have as a society. For example, when it comes to comedy, right? And Elon Musk mentioned this when it came to the whole Dave Chappelle thing, right? Trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. You're trying to cancel a whole genre, right, of art and speech, because that's what it is. It's speech, it's art, because a small group of people get offended, right? And this small group of people that get offended, they essentially become the mob, right? They're a small group, but they are very, very loud, right? I.e., what happened at Netflix. And it cause a whole lot of problems in society because they advocate for things that essentially take the rights away from other people, okay, in the name of social justice, right, and progress, okay? Again, like free speech, right? You can't say certain things because you might offend somebody. And if you offend somebody, especially certain groups of people, then you might get canceled, right? Which means that you're going to be pushed to the edges of society. You can't get a job anymore. You can't feed your family. You can't go out in public, okay? You're labeled as a sexist, homophobic bigot for the rest of your life, and you cannot be forgiven for it. You can't be forgiven for it. People trying to ruin your life over speech, over something that you said, over having an opinion that hurts somebody's feelings, right? Again, this is against the fundamental values that this country is built off of, right? Also, another aspect of wokeness is when it comes to the racial issue and how there's a whole lot of people out there who feel like we must correct the wrongs of the past, okay? So much so to the point where they're willing to openly discriminate against white people, right, in order to do that, which inherently is divisive, i.e. affirmative action, right, i.e. all these diversity and inclusion programs that we're seeing in woke corporate America, in which they're basically saying, look, we're going to hire you based off your skin color, right? It's not going to be based off your merit or whether or not you earned it. We're going to hire you just simply based off your skin color, and we're going to take opportunities away from other people, right, or not promote other people because we want to virtue signal and put so-called, people of color, people who have been historically marginalized or disadvantaged into positions of power or in prominence in the organization, right? Again, inherently divisive, right? You're discriminating against a certain group of people overtly in order to try to appease another group of people, okay? Which, again, in my opinion, is inherently divisive, right? Creates a whole lot of animosity for no reason. It stirs up a whole lot of hate on both sides. And when it comes to in school, right? When we see this race conversation happening in school, right? Teaching kids that they're inherently superior or inferior to other kids based off the color of their skin, right? And we've seen schools go as far as to segregate children, okay? Where they're like, oh, we have a people of color night. Or they do things specifically that's geared towards non-whites. That's what they do, right? I mean, they're so progressive, some of these people, that they're actually regressive, right? They're not actually real progressives. Real progressive, in my opinion, is probably somebody like Elon Musk, right? Somebody that understands that in order to actually make real progress in this society, we have to maintain our fundamental rights and freedoms, right? While at the same time, progressing technologically, progressing, economically, spiritually, etc. Right? I think that that's kind of how it's supposed to work, right? Moving forward into the future. However, again, that's not happening. There's people out here that, again, are so woke and so progressive that they're actually moving us back to the 1950s, 1960s, right? They're moving us back to segregation. And again, a lot of this stuff, in my opinion, does come from a place of hatred, right? Hatred for what happened in the past, right? Things that a lot of people didn't even go through. They didn't even experience, okay? And like they were kind of alluding to in this interview, there is no forgiveness, right? You're guilty of what happened in the past, whether or not you actually participated in it or not, and you can't be forgiven. And therefore, we have to correct those wrongs, even if that means openly discriminating and being racist towards a certain group of people. That's just kind of how it works. And in my opinion, that is radical. That is something that is ultimately destructive in society and is going to lead us to a place that we really don't want to be, right? That's why I rail so hard against the idea of, wokeness, especially acting on it, right? It's okay to be aware of social issues. I have no issues with that. I think that's good, right? But again, when you start to act on those things in radical ways, that is actually regressive, I think that that's the real issue. Okay, so again, I found this interview with Elon Musk to be fascinating. I thought it was pretty interesting how Elon is kind of speaking out now on his political views, and I throughout this interview, I heard him use the term leftist a whole lot. Right, he used the word leftist a whole lot. I'm sitting thinking like, Elon, come on now. Come on out of the closet, right? Come on out of the closet. Tell us where you're at politically. He might have in this interview. I might have missed it, okay? But to me, it sounds like he is definitely not on the far left. He's definitely not on board with a lot of this stuff that they're pushing socially and economically. So again, I thought this interview was good. I thought it was fascinating. I think it's always good to hear him speak out, especially on an issue like this. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.